The public didn't know it, but Warden Sven not only runs this prison, but leverages his control over it to take a significant stake in the workings of a city's underworld. He is as dirty as the rest of them, and if other bosses go against him, he locks them up. Quite a trump card in this world where one of the only things that stops a gangster is a stay in prison. "I'll be out soon enough," Kent responds, leaning back in his chair. "We have to talk about Ivan." "Ivan." Sven looks at him closely. "He's chicken shit." Kent shakes his head slowly. "He's just a kid, but he's getting a foot in the heroin game. But because he's green, he doesn't have the grit or the resources to handle it." He pauses a moment, taking Sven in. "He's getting backed into a corner," Kent continues, "and it's making him ruthless. He's not coming to meetings of the families, he's killing at well-made men, as well as wise guys. He has to be stopped, Sven. Or he's going to wreck it for all of us." Sven leans back into his chair, considering. Kent steels himself, staring Sven down. Antony, his cousin and second-in-command, had told him it was foolish to lock himself up for months just for the chance to talk to Sven. But Kent had a gut feeling this was the right call. An alliance with Sven against Ivan was going to pay off. Big time. "I see your point," Sven says, breathing out through his nose. "Ivan's too big for his britches, eh? It's a delicate ecosystem," he says, holding his hands out like a set of scales to demonstrate the balance. "We've all got to play our parts. If he pushes too far, he destroys it for all of us." Sven nods, considering his next words before continuing. "I have to admit, Lippert, I'm impressed with your persistence in this matter. I've done good work isolating myself, protecting myself, but you found a way in. Not everyone would come to my turf and stay so long just for a meeting with me. I respect that. You're a real capo, a good guy. I'm glad that I know this." Kent nods, silently confirming this read of him. That's exactly how he wanted Sven to feel. "Ivan's a mad dog," Kent says. "We've got to put him down. I'll provide the muscle. All I ask is that you let us. Don't interfere. As for the spoils, we split 50-50. Sven eyes him, considering. "I want 80-20 for my agreement to let you handle it." Kent doesn't let his frustration show. He doesn't care if Sven takes it all. Honestly, Sven has power, but he's notoriously low on cash, a problem Kent doesn't have. But he can't let himself be bowled over. 60-40, he says, stern. Sven shrugs, not agreeing yet, but not pushing the matter further. "What about the other bosses?" he asks. "Are you anticipating pushback from Alden?" Kent shakes his head quickly. Alden's distracted. His guys are running the game, but he's got some new clue about his lost kid. He waves a hand, dismissing it. He's not going to take a side. Sven nods, giving him a small smile, and Kent realizes that Sven already knew this. Sven might not have cash, but he does trade in secrets. Likely, Alden got the clue from him to begin with. Kent narrows his eyes, realizing that question was a test. He doesn't like being tested. "Do we have a deal?" Sven shrugs, again noncommittal. He turns in his chair to stare at a calendar on his wall, the picture of a beautiful vineyard somewhere in Europe. "You know, I had a lovely glass of wine the other day. From Napa. But I gotta tell you, Lippert," he turns here, looking Kent directly in the eye. "It left me a little parched, a little too dry." Sven's lips start to lift in a cold smirk. "You wouldn't happen to know, anywhere else, where a man could get a finer glass of wine, a really good drink, would you?" Kent flicks his eyes to the calendar again, realizing suddenly that the picture on the wall is a picture of his vineyard, the calendar likely produced as a promotional gift for tourists. Sven knew exactly what Kent would ask even before he set foot in the room, and he knew exactly the price of his cooperation. "France," Kent says slowly, narrowing his eyes and staring at Sven. "Perhaps not such a clean alliance after all. The best wine in the world comes from France." "You know, I'd like to try that wine," Sven says, turning back to the picture all innocence. "I'd like to get a foot in the industry too. Maybe get some property there someday." "Done," Kent said. "It's worth the price. A good meeting." Kent leaves satisfied. As they walk down the hall, one of the guards turns to him. "We've been ordered to take you along to your psychological assessment before returning you to your cell," he informs him. Kent glares at him, but says nothing. The guard shrugs. "Standard procedure, Lippert. All prisoners gotta do it." Kent stays silent, following. Sven is pushing it, making him undergo psychological testing when he be out of here tomorrow. He's just trying to collect more secrets. Kent follows the guards to a cinderblock cell at the end of the hallway, noting that his lawyer is standing outside the door. The lawyer rolls his eyes to Kent and points at his watch, indicating that he'll have him out of here in no time. Kent nods and then focuses his attention on the door. He's surprised, when it opens, to see a girl inside. Not a girl, perhaps a young woman 23 at the most. She stands up, clearly anxious, biting her lip and playing with the long red ponytail that drifts over her shoulder. Her mouth falls open, just slightly, as she takes him in. God damn it, Kent thinks, his whole body going tense at the sight of those long legs, knocked at the knees with anxiety, her short white skirt, that ridiculous blazer that she wears so people like him will take her seriously. He can tell from a single glance that she's pure as the driven snow, ambitious, but poor, eager to prove herself. His eyes rove over her, considering what she'd look like if he ripped that blazer off of her. He focuses again on those red lips, slightly parted. His breath hisses from his mouth at the sight of those lips, at the thought of what he could do with them. She says, hesitant. He snaps his attention back to her jewel blue eyes. "My name is Faye Thompson. I'm here to do your preliminary interview for state psychological assessment." Kent grits his teeth, denying his urge to smile slowly at the fact that her statements are presented as questions. God, she's perfect, this little angel. The feral, leashed part of him wants to know what she'd look like with a little bit of the underworld's grime smeared all over her. "Hello, Faye," he says, his voice low and hungry as he moves forward and settles into his chair. "Where do we begin?" I hesitate, settling down in my chair across from this man, sensing that I'm the doe to his wolf. It feels almost as if he could leap across this table at any moment and gobble me up. Daniel's father is Kent Lippert, the Mafia king of our city. That's why he has a bodyguard. That's why he has so much money. I quirk my head to the side, still staring at Lippert, realizing that this is also why Daniel is hiding his sexuality. The Mafia of our city are notoriously conservative, and family is everything. A gay son would never be accepted, especially an only son. God, he really did want me to be his beard. Poor Daniel, he's got to hide everything he loves. Suddenly, I realize that the man in front of me is smiling, just slightly, his eyes moving over me as I stare at him like a deer in the headlights. I clench my jaw, reminding myself that he is the villain. "So," I say, turning back to my papers nervous. "You've done this 1,000 times, Faye." I remind myself. "You could do this in your sleep. Can you please state your name for me and place of birth?" "I believe," Lippert says slowly, "that you're already aware of my history." He leans back, studying me. I lift my eyes to glare at his impudence. He's so rude. But, unfortunately, he's right. Everyone in this city knows this information. I quickly fill out the form. I glance up at him, struck again by his similarity to Daniel. The profile, especially, is almost exactly the same, but whereas Daniel is gentle, refined, Kent has a grim, lethal quality to his face. I drag my gaze away from him, feeling a shiver pass through me, tapping its fingers down my spine. Somehow, I imagine that they're Kent's fingers.
Full story is available at novelpalace.com. Click the link in the comment section to get it free.